Next meeting of the Caroline County Board of Supervisors to order. I have asked, since we're doing the budget public hearing, and I always joke about this whenever I go to St. John Baptist, I tell the pastor that I need some high-test religion. It's good to go and have regular gas, but occasionally you need high-test. So I've asked Reverend Berryman from St. John Church if he would come and deliver the invocation for us, Mr. Berryman. If you'd all please stand, and then we will have our Corey and the young folks from the middle school will give us the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Berryman.
We bow in prayer. Good evening to everybody, firstly. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Let us pray. God, our Father, we thank you for the privilege of prayer. We thank you for being a God hearing, also a God answering prayer. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you for this gathering. Touch each heart, each mind, each spirit, that our lives might be redirected and directed in the path that you have chosen for us. Guide us, and we thank you for the information you're about to receive. Thank you for those who put it in place, and we thank you for our listening hearts and ears. May we be receptive to all the events of this evening. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Middle school students?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we have a couple of things to do. We are actually going to move up agenda item Agenda item 12, which was the middle school students. We are going to move that up to presentations, and that'll be our first presentation, because I understand some of you probably have to go home and go to bed and don't want to be up till 11. So at that, any amendments to the agenda, Mr. Cully?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman. That would be the only one.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that item number 14 be pulled.
Yes, sir. Any other changes? Okay, motion to that effect, removing agenda item number 14 be in order.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Opening board comments, Mr. Black.
Yeah, I just want to say briefly, we had discussed last week the last board meeting of the county audit, last audit we had. I'd like to reiterate the comments that Mr. Seeley made at the previous board meeting. I think the auditing firm did an excellent job, and I expect that I also believe that we should pay the bill to that company. Thank you.
Mr. Seeley.
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Underwood.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague that we should pay the bill. However, I'd just like to do some fact-finding. So I think maybe we'll take a look at it, but I do have some concerns about anytime we have overruns in cost. I'd like to know what causes the overruns, how we can prevent it from occurring again. I don't think we do justice to the taxpayers' money by just paying a bill because it's presented. So I do have an issue with that.
Anything else, Mr. Underwood?
No, sir.
Mr. Akers?
No comments.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, just one. I would like to say that this week, one of the former teachers at the middle school, Mr. George Watkins, passed away unexpectedly. He taught at the middle school a number of years, even though he was not employed by the middle school at this time. He is a resident of the Lake Caroline community. And if we could just have a moment of silence in his absence, thank you.
We'll observe a moment of silence at this time. Thank you. that it, Mr. Stanley?
That's all I have.
Okay, for me, we had a very good budget work session last week. We're looking at expenditures. We're still looking at those, and we're looking at some revenue. I was scanning for Mrs. Carter. I don't see her. I guess we'll talk to her shortly. That's one of the things we're looking at. We didn't state, Mr. Cully, and I think the board had discussed it briefly but never confirmed. We were talking about all open positions being frozen right now, and I think that's something we'd mentioned before but hadn't necessarily taken action on. So it's not really out of order, but if there's a motion to that effect, we'll make it official.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Underwood, seconded by Mr. Seeley, that all open positions as of this point in time will be frozen. All in favor, or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That motion carries unanimously. And now let's get to the
Mr.
really...
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just point of,
Except the ones that,
we're in
except the
order.
positions that we have mandated, of course.
Yes. Just point of order. If we wanted to discuss the audit payment, we have to put that back on the agenda at this time, or could there be a motion later to bring that up for discussion? Just point of order. How could that be done?
Actually, at any point in time during the unfinished business session, a motion to reconsider would be in order. Or at this particular time, any board member who would like to make a motion to amend the agenda, I would consider in order.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda to include discussion of the audit.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carries unanimously. We will make that agenda item 11A. Actually, it's 12A. We're going to move 12 up anyhow. So 12A will be the audit. We're going to move on. Are there any middle school students in the house? Oh. Are there any middle school teachers in the house? Okay, would the teachers like to come forward, or would they like to send their students to do this work? You want the students to come up? All right, who's the three that were here before? Come to the podium, please, so we can hear you. And again, state your name, because I left my other notebook home.
Hello, I'm Corey Jones.
Corey Jones.
I'm Savannah Dyer.
Savannah.
And I'm Aubrey Reese.
Aubrey.
Aubrey Reese.
A-U-B-R-E-Y? Yes. Ooh, okay. All right. Now, what do you guys want? Huh?
Well, last meeting, we came for permission for the our 38th parallel project in front of the high school. And for all that weren't here last meeting, the 38th parallel is the border that separates North and South Korea, and it divides North and South Korea, and it runs right in front of the high school, as we have recently found out. And last meeting, we came to ask for permission for land and any donations that would be available towards our project.
Okay. Do you ladies want to add something to that?
No, he covered it.
He covered it? All right. I asked Corey this before, and I thought it was really important, because you guys are what, 11, 12?
Oh, I'm 12.
You're 12?
I'm 12. 13.
Okay. And you'll learn later, ladies, don't tell their age. But that's something to learn later. Now, what makes you think at 12 and 13 you could change the world? Corey?
Well, I believe that determination, leadership, and the works of God can make me change the world.
Savannah?
Believing in myself, having determination, and just being yourself all the way through.
Aubrey? This better be good.
By leading by example and showing everybody that you can help and change and make change.
Okay. You guys, again, 12, 13. I'm trying to think way back when I was 12, 13. All I cared about was Little League Baseball and, you know, what the Yankees were doing and something like that. You guys have impressed us beyond belief. You have done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And we told you last time, after you made your presentation, we would probably give you the money to put the plaque up, right? And I think it was Mr. Seeley who said, maybe we should hold off on that and not give you the money right now, but let some other people have a chance to donate money. So in thinking about that, we thought it was even a better idea, and I think I talked to your teachers or sent them an email. What we've decided to do, all of us together, and you guys are in it, is we are going to give you the money for the plaque, which was $3,540?
Yes, sir.
50.
$3,550?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to write it down. Okay. We're going to give you, the Board of Supervisors and all of the citizens of Caroline County are going to give you $3,550 to put the marker up. But what we've decided to do is you can keep these fundraiser events going by creating a little memorial garden, and you could put bricks out there, which kind of, you could have markers to whatever Korean War veteran you want and things like that, which is a great idea. Now, you probably don't even know it, but Mr. Whiteman behind you, who works for the county, he showed up at my house Sunday morning at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, right after you made your presentation. And he said, this was so great, Floyd, I want to pay the whole thing myself. So that's how you guys have impressed the whole county. Now, part of what I want to do is kind of a trick, not really a trick, but more or less a surprise. I'd ask Mr. Burris and Reverend Berriman if they would be here at this meeting, because I didn't know if you guys had ever met a Korean War veteran. Now, Corey blew the whole thing because he told me he went to St. John and he knew Reverend Berriman. But I think you guys, because I need, you were the first three. So, you got 3 pens? I got 2 pens. I need 1 pen. Oh, we're going to give you 3. Since you were the first 3 and actually came here, I'm going to ask you guys to come up on stage. I have 3 members who are actually giving me the pins off their lapel to give to you. I got 2. I need 1 more. And we're going to let you take pictures with those Korean War veterans that you are honoring with your efforts. So I'll first need a motion that says the board is going to contribute the $3,550, Corey.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Underwood, seconded by Mr. Black. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. This motion is going to carry unanimously. Congratulations, you have changed the world.
Thank you.
Now if you'll come forward. Mr. Burris, if you could come forward, sir. Can you come forward? Reverend Berriman? Mark, and we'll move over to the side. What we're actually doing is we're paying honor to our previous generation and our future generation. You guys stand right here in the middle, right there in the middle, in front of that flag. Oh, I love to thank you. Reverend Berriman, you can stand there with Corey. Mr. Burris, come on up. You're the Korean War veterans. And you stand on the other side. I will stand back here. We'll let you guys take a couple.
Okay, sir. Move in, just tighten it up a little bit there. That's good.
Now, they're only, now you can,
Hold on. You hold on a second.
and give me the Board of Supervisors. You should be holding that thank you sign.
Yeah, you should be holding sign.
You want to hold it? Okay.
Corey, no, baby. Take it seriously.
Okay, you all stand here. Okay. All right. So look right here. Nice spot. Take a couple here, kind of be some blanks on everybody. That's great. One more. I'll let you go.
Well, I ain't going anywhere for a while.
Thanks.
one more second here. These are actual Caroline County pins. I want you to have one. I wanted you to have one. And you got on a jacket, so you can wear it. You can wear it with a sweater, or a jacket, or a vest. And can the rest of you, can the rest of the middle school kids come up? Eric, you want to do more? Up to you. You guys were first, that's why you get the first pictures? Because you came?
Okay.
Then they're the rest?
Can we do this, Mr. Thomas? Can we bring him over here and pull the curtain shut?
I should have known it would be a production.
I know.
Go right ahead. All right, guys. The board will stand behind them. If that's okay, unless you don't want to.
Okay, can we bring it over here this way a little further?
Come on, guys, over here. Stand. You guys will be in the front here, right here. Corey, give me some of that hair.
Okay, can we bring it around further?
All right, we'll bring it around.
Mr. Taylor, I believe they're sorry.
Wait, we want Jeff in the front too because he's got the same issue.
And Mr. Aker.
Yeah.
Wait, are we losing Reverend Berman and Mr. Burns? Come on. You guys need to be in the front too.
Okay, you find a place. If I don't like it, then I'm going to move you around. Oh, Mr. Akers, can I pick on you? Can you come over here right next to Mr. Seeley?
Let me stand next to Calvin so I look better.
Okay, Mr. Thomas.
All right.
Mr. Thomas, just a little bit to my right there. Whoops. And then Mr. Seeley. There we go. Hey, look. Okay, I mean, way back. Let these people get there.
I got it.
Oh, these amateurs.
Come on, baby. I have a serious picture of Corey yet this year. He's always like,
I think sometimes it's an accident. I think he just can't take it.
Right there. Good. All right, that's great. Okay, you just want to hold your sign up a little higher? There we go. Okay, now come on right here. I'm going to take a couple, and then one more. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Again, middle school guys, thank you very much. Reverend Berman, Mr. Burris, thank you for your service. It's a small honor we pay to you, but we do appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming at short notice. You ever meet a Korean War veteran? You want to say thank you too?
Floyd.
have a wonderful day.
It's the wrong chair. Okay, which I probably need. Where's Charlotte? Where's my glasses? Pam, you see Charlotte? Okay. Dang. I can't see. I see him. Oh, yeah, I can see distance now. Okay. Mark, we got one more. Okay, guys, I'm not going to keep you. If you want to go home and do your homework, that's fine with us. We appreciate you coming, and we appreciate everything you've done. Okay? Thank you very much. Our next presentation is going to be a recognition of Charlotte Heffler for years of service to Caroline County. And I had to put my glasses on to make sure I saw her in the audience. So Charlotte, if you want to come forward, please. What I have, while you make your way, it's a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Charlotte Heffler upon the occasion of her retirement, whereas Ms. Charlotte Heffler will retire on March 29th. That's this week. Yes. After more than 11 years of service to Caroline County, and whereas her employment with the Department of Public Utilities, she has distinguished herself as a loyal and valued employee, and whereas Mrs. Heffler always strived to provide professional, courteous, and friendly service to the citizens of Caroline County, and whereas she will be missed by her fellow employees and the citizens she served, now therefore be it resolved that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors expresses gratitude and appreciation to Mrs. Charlotte Heffler for her faithful service to the citizens of Caroline County and extends its best wishes to her and her family for good health and happiness in her retirement. If I could have a motion to adopt Resolution 913, I would appreciate it.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor say aye. Oh, second was Mr. Taylor. Seeley, Mr. Taylor. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed nay. Motion carries unanimously. And Ms. Heffler, excuse me, but what district do you live in?
I used to be in yours, Mattapan High, but now I'm in Mr. Seeley's.
Oh, you Mr. Seeley's?
When you changed it?
You've gone down. That's okay. I'll let you take a picture with Mrs. Seeley. Can you come on up, Ms. Heffler, please? Sure. Jeff? We'll do this. She's in the Bowling Green district now, so we'll do together. We'll put her in the middle. Mark, is this my good side? You didn't say yes. Yes. Is it my good side or not? Do I have a good side? Charlotte, come on over here first. Thank you so much for all you've done. We really appreciate it. Give me a hug. I'm not sure. Give me a hug. Thank you. Great job. All right, this is for you. So we'll hold that. Jeff, you want to put your hand on the other side? And we all look like we're giving it to you. There we go. Mark, no production. No production on that. Okay, Charlotte. No, nice smile. And wonderful. That's a great smile. Thank you again. Thank you. We appreciate you. Enjoy. No production. And the rest of the board would like to say thank you again. Thank you. Mr. Curling. Oh, there you go. He is here. All right, I got two. I don't know which one. This one? I had one. Oh. Let's do crime prevention here. Oh, thank you. Mr. Curling, it's good to see you again as always. Turn sideways. The other way. American Legion?
Yes, sir. You got it right this year.
I always say VFW, American Legion. Okay. Thank you, first of all, for helping us find Mr. Burris.
Yep.
We did appreciate that at the last minute. I think I asked yesterday while half of us were closed, so we do appreciate it. And now you're here to talk about the Caroline County Wounded Warrior Project.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Thomas and the board. I want to let you know that it's on again for this year. This year, the Wounded Warrior program for Caroline County, the bass fishing program that we started last year, will, if the weather provides, the beautiful skies and cold weather we've been having, but they assure me it's going to start getting warmer next week. We'll be on the 27th of April, at which time we will again go back to our fishing spot up on Route 1, the Mount Olympic Farm, and we will conduct a program where this year it is open to our maximum of 25 wounded warriors, and these are the wounded warriors that are living here at home. These are the warriors that have already been discharged. These are the warriors that live amongst us. These are the warriors that we seem to have forgotten about. Well, let me tell you, Caroline County is involved with supporting these young men and women, and will continue to do so as long as there's a need. The owners of the property have fallen in love with the program, and with the help of the community rallying behind it, I hope that we can raise some serious money to take care of these men and women who are now living here in the county, as well as those living in Region 1. Region 1 runs from basically starting at Culpeper and down through King George and then out as far as here in Caroline. All the money that we raise, if you make a donation to the Wounded Warriors of Virginia and put Region 1 on that check, the money will stay in this region, and the money will go to help our veterans who are dealing with traumatic stress and brain injury. So what does that mean that I ask from the board? All I ask from the board again is let me keep using the name of Caroline County, and that you provide a person from the fire department or the EMT unit that will be there on the 27th between the hours of 8 and 12. That's when we will be doing the fishing. Of course, they're welcome to stay for the luncheon and the awards that will be presented afterwards. Again, this year it will be a barbecued lunch provided by the Reedy Church Brewertons, and they have been our member supporting us since day one. So that's all I'm asking, and I hope that I have the blessing of the board to provide that service.
Any questions for Mr. Curling? Does he have the blessing of the board?
Mr. Chairman, would you like that in the form of a motion?
That would be good.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we allow the name of Caroline County to be used for the Wounded Warrior program, and that we provide a EMT rescue squad for that particular event, the 27th of April.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Seeley, seconded by Mr. Black. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed nay. Motion carries unanimously, Mr. Curling.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Got it again. So the other thing, and a couple of them are just coming in. I know there's a Caroline Promise golf tournament again this year. We're going to work it out so we sponsor a team of Wounded Warriors for that tournament again.
Thank you, sir. I'll make sure they know about that.
I'll be in touch with you again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board, and I'll be back to tell you how successful we were at the end of the program.
Thank you. Look forward to it. Thank you again. Next would be our report on personal property tax values. Mrs. Carter and the Commissioner of Revenue. Mrs. Carter, we want to first welcome you here and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
As a constitutional officer and elected officer, we do appreciate you coming to the board. Really, the purpose of it was to kind of get an idea of what the personal property values are, because as we've gone through before, the Board of Supervisors sets the rate, and the Commissioner of Revenue sets the value or the assessment.
Yes, sir.
And last year, we thought we were increasing the rate just a little bit, but the value of the assessment was at retail, and there's been some discussion about it, and now the value is different.
It's going to be trade.
It's going to be
yes,
trade.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So we effectively are, because we're using trade, we're effectively cutting the personal property tax by 20%, 25%.
Well, let's look at our numbers. Let's not jump ahead, okay?
Okay.
Now, let's get serious and look at numbers and not crystal balls. Let's look at the numbers.
Okay, tell us the numbers.
Okay, I'm going to give you a sheet.
She has something she's going to give us.
Oh, you're going to give us numbers. And you didn't want to give them ahead of time, so we would read ahead and crystal ball it. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. You had this?
The one thing that I want to bring to your attention is our values of our used vehicles. In our area, our region, they are maintaining value. And in some instances, they are increasing. Used vehicles are a major part of our economy right now. Our values are trade. We are also starting with the high mileage reduction this year. Okay? So the first figure you have, now you must understand, we're still working. This is not the final numbers. We're still working. We're about 75% complete. We don't get numbers as fast as you all would like them. So we don't want to set something out there that's a maybe. We want to show you where we actually are at this time. The first value you see on the page is the 75% total of our book. The book also includes the first billing of proration. So now we're going to back out the proration because that is not a part of your budget. You said you wanted that to be additional funds. This will be the highest amount of proration you will receive during the year because they will be taxed on the months that they own it. And right now we will get the full amount of the year, 11 months, once they come in. Contrary to a lot of belief, people are upgrading in vehicles. We saw this last year, but we were not prorating. We knew when Mr. Pardon and I gave you the numbers that vehicles were changing, and that's why we had so many transactions that must be done. We have one deputy that is putting them in and adjusting them just as fast as she can. On days, believe it or not, people have been waiting in line to get their vehicles on the books. So what you see, the second figure, is the first proration book for Caroline. We back that figure out. Now you're looking at values. You're not looking at tax dollars. Okay? Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. All right, the next figure you see, we've backed out the proration. The next figure you will see is we figured then what would 100% be. If we think we're at 75 right now, we wanted to come to an estimated, hear me please, estimated 100% amount. Now in predictions, you can only go with the facts in hand. So this is 100% of your value. Now we're working here now with just our vehicles. We're not working with business equipment or other things. We're focusing in on the vehicles. The next one you see is at the $350 rate with no change. And of course you see then the $380, and I also gave you $379. In the box is 2012 figures. Due to the substantial change last year in people upgrading vehicles and the used car market and all those good deals out there that people were getting at 0% interest rates, our values did not drop that much. It's only an 8%, as you see, change. The figures given to you, we have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. The worst scenario is they dropped drastically. which the predictions of the Weldon Cooper Center would take you to 25%. Medium, they thought would be around 18% medium in a drop. But we're finding out that the used car market is alive and well. And Caroline is upgrading vehicles. And then you see at the bottom that first billing of the proration at the 2 rates. Now that's your additional funds. We back that out of the grand total. And we're still ongoing. And very honestly, when we saw these ladies have worked themselves crazy. And I have driven them crazy. Because we wanted to make sure the numbers were as good as they can get. We didn't want to have to stop until you absolutely needed that figure and then start running extra figures. So they have been working harder than you can ever imagine to get this in. Do you have any questions or concerns?
Okay, let me just ask a couple because I didn't read ahead.
Sure.
But I did use my calculator.
Uh-huh.
And I came up with 498, 155.10, which is good enough for me because that's what you have. That is what you estimate as the prorated revenue for the county this fiscal year?
No, sir. No, sir. This is our is our first billing. This is from January 1 to March 25.
This fiscal year?
Yes, sir.
This fiscal year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You have to understand now, this is your heaviest.
Right.
From now on, it will go down because the months go down that people will actually be taxed for.
But we haven't accounted for this 498 because we didn't want to. We wanted to look at that.
That's the way I understood it.
That was a budgeting thing.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure that I understand how much this surprise is going to be worth. And you think it's 498?
Sir, they're in the computer. They're ready to go as soon as we have a rate. They're there.
At the current rate. So you're saying...
At 350.
Right, at 350. And you're also saying that we were under the impression, we the board, and we've discussed this number a couple of times, that our revenue number for personal property had gone down 25%, and you're saying it's only gone down 8%.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Plan for the worst and hope for the best.
That's kind of it, but hope is not a strategy. So the other thing...
You got to have it.
We got it, but we can't just rely on it. The other thing is, this is the actual list of values, not necessarily what we collect. Because I've got a car, and if I don't pay my personal property tax,
yes, sir. You're
it.
seeing the perfect world numbers. Right. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
Okay. Now, before I get really excited about the perfect world, what's the real world look like? Do I collect 80%? 90%?
I do not collect your money.
I mean, does anybody have an idea? Yeah, I know you don't.
I don't want to.
Fran,
may be able to.
The June billing runs normally at 68%. December billing runs about 90%.
That's what you said in the work session. In the work session, yeah.
For property, it was 98% and 68%. She's saying for personal property,
personal property is the other way around.
68, 90.
Okay. Because we need to figure out on our end, without what you're doing, what's the delta between perfect world and reality.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood those
yes,
things.
Yes, sir. No, this is everything that would be billed at this point.
Okay. Last question. You've got 75% complete. What you're saying is DMV doesn't give us a database like they used to. We have to actually search theirs or whatever, and we've only got 75% of the 100? Is that it?
Sir, we have all of the DMV in. We have that, but there's much more than just transferring a file. We have to hand assess all motorcycles, all boats, all campers, all aircraft. There is much more to this than pushing buttons.
Okay. The 75% you said was just vehicles?
That's everything to this point, but it's
Everything.
of the vehicles.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor, questions?
No, I don't have any at this time.
Mr. Akers?
I do have a question. I just want to make sure I understand what we're doing here. You have on here a recommendation of 380 rate. Now, the county administrator had proposed 430. Does that have anything?
Yes, because she had originally told me she thought the value was going to go down 25%.
Right. So what I'm saying is, you're recommending that the rate be 380 rather than the 430 that he is advertised.
What I'm recommending is to equalize.
Right.
I'm just...
That's all his, supposedly that's all what his did.
Well, I think that everybody, when you look at these values across the region, is going to be
We have
amazed.
a moving target, and new data says the equalized rate is now 380 and not 430.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's why we wanted to make sure you were here so we could understand.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Akers, you done?
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Underwood?
Yep. Ms. Carter, just to make sure I'm correct, the equalized rate that you're looking for was based on the trade value that we used last year.
We didn't use trade value last year.
retail last year, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
We used a higher number last year.
Yes, sir.
So your equalized number is based on that higher number.
No, sir. This is with trade values. Yes, sir. Vehicles, new vehicles lost very little in valuation.
Okay. What I don't want to happen is for people to have an older car and still pay more taxes on that vehicle. And I think I heard you iterate to something, so I need to help me a little bit. Because if I'm not mistaken, the rate last year was on retail value,
Yes,
which
sir.
is higher than trade.
Yes, sir.
So if we equalize based on the retail value, then we're retailing at the higher rate. Is that correct? Am I missing something?
No, you said trade. You said trade.
Retail.
You said retail instead of trade.
Right.
Last year we did retail.
Yes, sir.
This year we're doing trade.
Yes, sir.
But we're assessing.
So the delta between, we assess at retail, right?
Yes, sir. And we dropped the rate last year.
Okay. Let me try this again. And maybe I'm just slow today. Last year we assessed based on retail
Yes, sir.
at the higher rate. Correct? This year we are assessing.
No, we dropped the rate last year. You dropped the rate last year from 625 to 350.
Well, we actually
No,
increased the
we
rate because we went
increased.
to.
No. We didn't drop
We
it.
went from 50%
It was
to
supposed to be
100.
312 with the 350.
Yeah, we did
Yes.
increase the rate.
We increased.
Yeah, we increased
It was
the rate.
we did rather than the half year, we did 100%. It was 312 and we used 350. So folks paid a higher rate.
Well, it never went to 312.
No, 312 was the equalized number.
Yes, sir.
At 50% versus 100%.
Yes, sir.
Which is why we tried to get rid of that, because it was confusing, and obviously we're still confused. And we're not the only ones. But we went from 350 to what we higher. You good?
Not yet.
Okay, now we're going, our assessed values last year were much higher than they are this year.
Yes, sir.
Because we're using a different rate, retail versus trade.
So now we want to increase the rate in order to get back to the higher cost.
Actually, we would be using the 350 as the same rate.
No, recommended. No, wait a minute. We just said we recommended 380, and then Mr. Cully recommended 430. That's not the same rate.
She's saying proration. You're saying equalizes 350.
No, 380.
Or 380. You're saying equalizes 380. Yeah, that's different than the 380 is the equalized number. His 4 number was the equalized number because he thought the values went down 25%.
I understand that.
But now she's saying with the book finally coming back,